Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a major drug bust in Lavaca County. 3 arrests, multiple agencies involved, and we're digging for more details. Plus, Victoria College is making major progress on its new Student Success Center, and the brickwork has officially begun. Plus, crews are making progress on the Sarco Creek fire in Goliad County, which has now been burning for 3 days.
We are going to be talking about your weekend, which will be warm and windy, but the best news I haven't had in a long time, is next week looks like we're finally going to get some rain around here, and we'll be talking about that coming up in a moment.
And the days of free beach trips at Lighthouse Beach in Port Lavaca are coming to an end. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. Multiple agencies team up for a drug bust early this morning in Lavaca County. Yoakum Police, the Westside Narcotics Task Force, and multiple other local law enforcement agencies executed a pre-planned drug operation. It ended with 3 arrests, 1 in Yoakum city limits and 2 just north of Hallettsville. Authorities say they found multiple types of narcotics and guns. We've reached out to Yoakum PD and the Austin County Sheriff's Office for more details and are waiting to hear back. Victoria College is now laying brick at the new Student Success Center. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley joins us with an update. Ray?
Yes, Shawna, the foundation set the walls are up and now bricks are being laid at the Victoria College new Student Success Center. The 3-story expansion and renovation of the existing student center will place student resources under one roof. Students will have convenient access to the library, admissions, advising, financial aid, testing, and more. This is a $2.8 million project. Ground was broken on the center in January 2024. The Victoria College Student Success Center is scheduled to be finished by the fall, in time to celebrate Victoria College's 100th anniversary. Shawna?
All right, thank you, Ray. Well, it's time to take a look outside at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. And Mac, this is the last weekend of spring break, so we're hoping for some nice weather to be outside to enjoy.
Well, this weekend for spring break is going to be spectacular. A little on the breezy side, but not howling winds like we had earlier. And the temperatures are going to be pretty good, low 80s. I think you'll enjoy your time at the beach or the backyard, wherever you're going. The thing is that we're slowly going to be increasing our humidity over the weekend, and we're going to be looking at more and more cloud cover. That leads us to a chance for rain next week. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This is serious. I wouldn't kid you about this. This is important stuff. And we'll be talking about the chance for rain next week coming up in just a few minutes. Shawna, back to you.
The Sarco Creek fire in Goliad County is now 100% contained. The fire started Wednesday evening about 10 miles northwest of Refugio. Crews from Goliad County, Blanconia, Refugio, Woodsboro, Beeville, the Texas Department of Emergency Management, and the Texas Forest Service were all on scene. The fire has burned 200 acres. Lighthouse Beach in Port Lavaca is a popular place for fun in the sun, but the days of enjoying the beach for free will soon be washed away. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us now with details. Trenton.
Yes, Shawna, those days of free trips to the beach are indeed over after Port Lavaca City Council reestablished a fee for entrance. Port Lavaca City Manager Jody Weaver says the toll to enter Lighthouse Beach has always been around, but the toll has been closed due to difficulties of keeping a manned toll booth as well as the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2020. But with the city's ability to bring in an automated toll booth, the entry fees will be reinforced. Yoakum resident Sasha Brown and her family drive to Lighthouse Beach often and says the toll will be a small price to pay in exchange for the valuable family time.
I don't think that the toll bothers me because for my kids to enjoy their day and me to relax, it doesn't bother me at all.
Weaver says the automated toll gate should be operational by mid to late summer. All funds collected will go toward maintaining Lighthouse Beach. The prices will be $5 for an all-day pass and $25 for a year pass. Shawna, back to you.
Well, this brings us to our viewer poll this afternoon. Will the Lighthouse Beach toll keep you from visiting? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And 79% of voters say that the toll will keep them from visiting Lighthouse Beach in Port Lavaca. Continue voting. We'll have the latest numbers on 25 News Now at 6. Elon Musk met with Pentagon officials today. The briefing described as informal, as the Trump administration denies reporting from the New York Times that Musk was originally there in part to learn top secret plans from the Joint Chiefs. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details.
Today, the Defense Department released these photos of Elon Musk seated at the head of a table in the Pentagon, Secretary Pete Hegseth directly across. The closely watched meeting comes hours after the New York Times cited 2 U.S. officials in reporting Musk was scheduled to be briefed on top secret U.S. military plans should it enter a war with China, a story the administration adamantly denies.
We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about DOGE, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake.
Before the meeting, Musk wrote on his social media site X, quote, "The New York Times is pure propaganda," adding, "I look forward to the prosecutions of those at the Pentagon who are leaking maliciously false information." China is a vital market for Musk's car company Tesla, which saw record sales there last year. Just last month, President Trump vowed the administration wouldn't let Musk get anywhere near potential conflicts of interest. He doubled down today, denying this visit was ever scheduled to include sharing the military's war plans.
I don't want to show that to anybody, but certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much.
U.S. officials tell ABC News Musk was slated to meet with the Joint Chiefs of Staff today, but that the plans changed sometime after the New York Times published its story. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is advocating for a national biometric database to help tackle kidnappings at the U.S.-Mexico border. At a press conference, Sheinbaum highlighted the effectiveness of fingerprinting, noting that some countries already collect fingerprints at birth, while Mexico lacks a unified system. This proposal comes amid ongoing challenges with migration and forced disappearances. The dismantling of the Department of Education has officially begun. Thursday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order directing the Education Secretary to take steps toward the department's closure. Lee Waldman explains what this means for students and their families.
Some are worried this will significantly impact students that are low income and students with disability. President Donald Trump says that will not happen. They're simply giving the power back to the states.
We're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs.
While it would take an act of Congress to completely eliminate the Department of Education, President Donald Trump is fulfilling a campaign promise by beginning to dismantle it.
The Department of Education will be much smaller than it is today. As you know, the president's executive order directed Linda McMahon to greatly minimize the agency.
The Department of Education was created by then President Jimmy Carter in 1979. It oversees national education policy and administers federal grant programs for schools across the country. Kim Anderson, executive director of the National Education Association, worries children in public schools will suffer if it is dismantled.
This is going to impact every student across the country because of the reach of federal programs and federal funds that provide the resources that students need to thrive.
Thursday, Trump made assurances that 2 of the DOE's key programs, Title I, which provides funding for low-income schools, and the IDEA program, which provides schools with money to meet the needs of children with disabilities, won't be impacted. Anderson has her doubts.
There is no way that when you cut funding, can you have the kinds of small class sizes that ensure that students get the attention that they need.
Shortly after Trump signed this executive order, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said he will introduce legislation to shut down the Education Department. Earlier this month, you'll remember, the Department of Education announced it was cutting its workforce by nearly 50%. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
The Small Business Administration is slashing staff amid the Trump administration's cuts to the federal workforce. Today, the SBA's chief announced around 2,700 positions will cut. That's 43% of staff. The layoffs will include temporary workers and volunteer resignations. However, the agency said its core service will not be impacted. On top of the reductions, President Donald Trump said the SBA will take on student loans from the Department of Education. The chief vowed to refocus SBA's mission to empower job creators and end fiscal mismanagement. President Trump has invoked wartime powers to increase U.S. production of critical minerals. He signed an executive order Thursday giving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth the authority to use the Defense Production Act. By invoking the wartime power, the U.S. can increase production of uranium, copper, potash, and gold. The executive order also pushes to expand leasing and development on federal lands. Increasing mining and refinement of critical minerals is a bipartisan goal. It was a key part of former President Joe Biden's clean energy agenda. Postal workers rallied to protest proposed changes to the U.S. Postal Service. U.S. Mail is Not for Sale Day of Action took place in 150 cities, including San Antonio. Protesters voiced frustrations over the Trump administration's proposal to place USPS under control of the Department of Commerce. Since 1970, the Postal Service has operated as an independent, self-financing agency.
It's a treasure. It belongs to the American people. You know, we have a process in this country to change things. Every federal agency, we have laws. If you want to change the post office, then there's a right way of doing it. And then they should go the right way through Congress, because Congress created the post office. So we should stay within the process.
The head of the American Postal Workers Union said a government takeover would lead to higher prices. He also said it would reduce service, especially in rural areas. Let's Grow Texas Ag airs this weekend. You can catch it Sunday morning at 10 on KVCT Fox 19 or stream it on Zeem. Tune in to Let's Grow Texas Ag as Joe Adams showcases farm and ranch stories of the South Texas coastal plains. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Sleep plays a crucial role in kids' health and development. Find out when parents need to be concerned. Plus, a measles outbreak is spreading across 3 states, and health officials warn the numbers could be much higher than reported.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from a doctor from DTAR, we learn about Jaguar Day, a scholarship opportunity, and we hear from students from Howell Middle School.
Here comes the baker with his tray like always, the same old bread and rolls to sell. Every morning just the same, since the morning that we came to this pauper.
About rest. It's a key part of staying healthy, both mentally and physically. And for kids and teens, it's even more important since it directly impacts their growth and development. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a pediatrician about when to worry about a child's sleep habits.
During sleep, the body is at work, supporting healthy brain function and keeping up physical health. But getting those Z's doesn't always come easy. Around 35% of parents reported to the CDC that their child sleeps less than what's recommended for their age.
Sleep disturbances are really common in kids.
Dr. Scott Hadlin with Mass General for Children says sleep sets the stage for the kind of day a child will have, affecting school performance and how they engage with others. Those who don't get enough sleep are at increased risk for injuries, obesity, type 2 diabetes, poor mental health, attention and behavior problems, and poor cognitive development.
The key here is to understand when there's an issue.
Hadlin says there are 3 reasons parents should seek care for a child's sleep habits. First, if sleep disturbances are persistent, happening multiple times a week for a long period of time. Second, if the sleep issues are leading to daytime problems. Finally, if you suspect a medical problem, for example, heavy snoring or gasping, could be a sign of obstructive sleep apnea.
I think the other thing I would say is that if a child does wake up in the middle of the night with some kind of sleep disturbance, it's really important for parents to respond calmly, because that will help their child fall back asleep more quickly.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Hadlin says when it comes to sleep, consistency is key. So children and teens should have consistent bedtimes and wake-up times, even on the weekends. He says to avoid screen time an hour or 2 before bed and to instead use that time to set them up with a good night's sleep with calming activities like reading. A flurry of bills in the Texas legislature aims to restrict the flow of abortion pills into the state and abortion seekers traveling out of the state. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. The measles outbreak sweeping through Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma has now hit 355 cases, and local officials warn that number is likely an undercount. They say the virus could keep spreading for months. Texas has been hit hardest with 309 cases, most of them in Gaines County, where the outbreak started. New Mexico has reported 42 cases, and Oklahoma has 4 probable cases. Most infections are in people who are not vaccinated or whose vaccination status is unknown. Last month, Texas reported the first death from this outbreak, a school-aged child with no underlying conditions who was not vaccinated.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. A pretty good looking Friday, 73 degrees out there. You know, it was nice and cool actually today. But as we get to the weekend winds are going to be coming up a little bit stronger out of the southeast. A little breezy, not too bad, but just enough to mess up your hair. 37 was a low this morning. That's why it was a bit chilly when you walked out. We'll have your high a little bit later on. But the best news of all, next week, got a good chance for some rain around here. We'll talk about it after this. Well, last night I looked at the computer models and looked at next week's forecast, and I'm going, could it be? Could it be? Is it really possible that we may get rain around here? And as of this morning, it's getting to be more realistic, and we're talking about it. The weekend's looking pretty good. We still continue with the gusty winds, but no arid, dry humidity. We're looking at a weak frontal system that's right about here. I'll show it to you in a moment. On the west coast, there's not really what we're happening. What we're looking at is this storm is going to get pushed south and then comes around Baja California and hits us from the the southwest in about 7 days. So it's going to take a little time, but I'm willing for you to write this down and remember that I said this, that next week looks like a whole lot better than what we've had for the past couple of weeks. Winds today, pretty gusty. We had a peak wind of 33 miles an hour this afternoon, and it's all coming up from the south. And you can see how slowly but surely the Gulf moisture is rolling back in. You see the little yellow areas here. In the brown, they're down below 20% humidities, and out here in West Texas, they continue to be absolutely no humidity at all. 82 tomorrow and 84 on Sunday. On Monday, there's a slight chance we may get a sprinkle or two from a weak front, but it's not a huge thing. What we will have for the weekend, as you'll notice that the winds overnight are fairly calm. Right there's overnight, but during the day they're going to be pretty strong. We're looking at 25-mile-an-hour winds to maybe 30 with the gusts on Saturday and Sunday, until the whole thing changes around on us as we get into next week, because this is big. This is a large-scale change in the weather pattern over the United States. So notice the winds around the high. They're coming around, going this way. There's our little front. This one will be here Sunday night. Monday morning, that's when we have a chance of a little, 1 or 2 little showers, very light. I don't think anything significant. But the map that I'm talking about will come up in a second. Overnight low temperatures tonight, cool but not particularly bad, getting down to about 60, 59 degrees. And tomorrow, your Saturday, is looking pretty good. Temperatures around the state for anybody traveling are still very summer-like. We'll be about 83, while Houston will be at 83 as well, and San Antonio will be up to 87. Here's what I'm talking about. Long-term forecast is the GFS model. Stormy up there, stormy up here, quiet for us. That's Saturday. And then there's Sunday, and all of a sudden Sunday, that little light frontal system may produce 1 or 2 little showers, but that's not the main event. The main event is coming here on Wednesday. You'll see big storms fire in northern Mexico, and then that area moves up into our region, giving us a solid rain chance on Thursday and Friday of next week. Write it down, for real. I'll check on you next week. Looking good on Saturday, looking partly cloudy, high temperature about 79, 80 down at the coast. Winds will be strong in the afternoon. In the mornings, not bad at all. And then Cuero, you're looking partly cloudy with the afternoon wind blowing up to about 82 in your 7-day forecast. Yes, breezy, a sprinkle or two, not bad. Yes, 20%, 40%, 40% for rain chance here in the crossroads, believe it or not. It's next week. Keep your fingers crossed. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a day on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, we've doubled our chances, so definitely keeping the fingers crossed. Well, straight ahead, Klarna and DoorDash are teaming up to offer new flexible payment options. How it could change the way you pay for your next delivery.
Get ready for the madness. Think you know college hoops? Prove it. Enter the Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Put your bracket up against sports director Max Williams and weekend sports reporter Ray Robinson. Dribble on over to crossroadstoday.com to enter on the contest page. Win it all and score a family 4-pack with a hotel stay and a round of golf for 2 at Moody Gardens in Galveston. The Final Four Frenzy presented by Coastal Bend College. Brackets lock soon. Enter now.
U.S. stocks edged higher today. The Dow and broader S&P 500 both gained under 0.1%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite rose 0.5%. An end-of-day rally helped the S&P 500 and NASDAQ snap a 4-week losing streak. Here are the day's closing numbers. The Dow up 32 points, the S&P 500 up 5 points, and the NASDAQ up 92 points. Oil is up 25 cents to $68.32 per barrel. The largest shoemaker in the world is in a slump. Nike announced Thursday that global sales have dropped 9%, with China seeing a steep 17% decline and North America, Nike's biggest market, down 9% as well. Over the past year, Nike's stock has tumbled 30% as more shoppers opt for budget-friendly basics over high-priced sneakers and athletic gear. On top of that, competition from brands like Hoka and On is heating up. Now Nike is shifting gears to win back customers, teaming up with big names. This spring, it's launching Nike Skims, a collaboration with Kim Kardashian's brand aimed at female shoppers. Klarna and DoorDash are teaming up to offer flexible payment options. In the coming months, DoorDash customers will be able to select Klarna as a pay option when ordering groceries and more. The options will include paying in full or 4 equal interest-free installments. There will also be a pay later option, which allows customers to defer payments to a more convenient time. Klarna's new collaboration will also include flexible payment options for the Dash Pass annual plan. Disney is not backing out of the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index. Investors shut down a proposal to exit the program by a landslide. Only 1% of shareholders supported it. The proposal came from a right-wing think tank opposing trans rights efforts backed by the HRC. This vote follows Disney scaling back its diversity policies last month, but the company has long supported LGBTQ rights, famously clashing with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over the state's Don't Say Gay law in 2022. Nearly 90,000 portable power banks are being recalled because they pose a burn risk. The VC Group MagSafe wireless power packs contain a lithium-ion battery that can overheat and catch on fire. They were sold online at velvetcaviar.com and Amazon from November 2022 through October 2024. You should stop using the power bank immediately and contact VC Group for a replacement. So far, there have been 10 reports of minor injuries. Still to come, carb lovers, it's time to celebrate the crispy, buttery goodness of the baguette. Find out why today is all about this iconic French bread.
Coming up next, the global travel disruption and the unprecedented shutdown of one of the world's busiest airports. President Trump denying Elon Musk was going to get a top-secret briefing on China, and the mysterious disappearance of 3 members of the same family. All that up next.
Carb lovers rejoice. It is National French Bread Day. Whether you like it with butter or cheese, today is all about celebrating the baguette. This iconic French bread came about in 1920 after a law banned bakers from starting work before 4 a.m., forcing them to tweak their recipes. You don't have to be in France to join the fun, though. You can grab one from a local bakery, or tonight you can try baking your own French bread if you're looking for plans for Friday night.
Yeah, they didn't want their bakers to wake up too early. Was that the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you got to get up, make the dough, let it
to
rise,
Yeah.
and wait for the appropriate time to put it in. So that's why they were doing that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, your weekend is here. We've got warm, windy weather for the weekend, getting up into the low 80s. Pretty good looking weekend, although a little breezy. Not enough to really cause any problems, but just you'll feel it. The best news of all is that next week, beginning on Wednesday, our pattern changes completely, and we have a real good chance of getting some rain around here on Thursday and Friday. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one.
Yes. So this weekend, great though to end spring break for
Sure.
those that are on spring break this week.
Yeah, a lot of the kids have been out all week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they had some nice warm weather to deal with. Next week, hopefully we'll get the rain. It's been a while.
Yes, we definitely need a little drink of water for the plants.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thanks for being with us. Our next newscast is in just 30 minutes after World News Now with David Muir. We'll see you back here at 6.